It's Friday, March 19th, 2021, and we've made it to episode 2 of Is Breakfast Included? You're listening to Justified off the Moquita EP by Holly West, who just happens to be my guest today. Holly's had such a cool journey in such a short period of time, and she's going to talk about what she was doing before she became a musician, what led her to start making music, and all the projects that brought her to where she is now as the bass player of the all-female Led Zeppelin tribute band, Zepparella. We're going to talk about what's been keeping her busy for the last year, her solo projects, her acoustic act, her YouTube podcast series. I'll let her tell you all about that. So, here's Holly West. Tell me who you are right now.
My name is Holly West, and I'm a bass player. Most known for the band Zepparella.
Yeah.
And I also have my own project, which is a trio, a power trio, where I sing and play bass. And then I also do acoustic stuff.
Oh, well, cool.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm sorry.
But I guess, yeah, lately I've been doing some stuff online, like Bass Cafe, and teaching bass clinics and things like that.
Cool. Well, let's start from the beginning, man. Like,
okay.
When did you start playing bass, and why did you start playing bass, and what did you do before that?
Well, I was a hairdresser for 20 years in Dallas at Matthew Tully. Well, not there the whole time, but like throughout Dallas and Oklahoma for 20 years. And I just started my musical journey about in 2011. I got a MacBook Air, and it had GarageBand on it. And one of my friends taught me how to kind of arrange songs and loops and stuff. So I started with that. And then when I showed one of my friends who was needing a bassist, he could tell that I knew how to arrange songs and had an ear for it. So he asked me if I wanted to play bass. And I didn't hesitate. I just said, yeah, of course, because I wanted to play an instrument and I wanted to be in a band. So from there, he just kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to do it. And we did pretty good. We were signed with Down Boys Records, which is a Warrant label. And we toured quite a bit, and it was fun. And then I just kind of moved on from there into other projects.
So you didn't start playing until 2011. That's pretty good that you.
Thanks.
Yeah, you were a late starter, but
yeah,
I know what you've done. But
yeah.
And what was that first band?
The first band was called Love Stricken Demise, or LSD. And Nikki McKibben from American Idol, she actually just passed away a few months ago from an aneurysm. But she was the singer, and then Billy Blair, who is he's getting pretty well known lately in kind of like the horror film industry.
Mm-hmm. I know Billy.
You know Billy, yeah, of course. You're from Dallas, so you probably know Billy. So Billy was the guitar player, and then Rico, who's just known in all types of bands in Dallas, was the drummer. And that was the very, very first time that I'd ever played in front of anybody, or played a bass or anything. And I had like 6 weeks to learn it and to get on stage at House of Blues and pull it off. So it was intimidating, but I was up for the challenge, so it helped. I mean, it worked out pretty good.
There's a story that just evolved. Apparently I'm shooting up another drug. Star's got a story and it tells what I say.
Well, after that band, after you left that band, or I don't know if they broke up or that you just left.
We kind of broke up. I went to a band called Honey. Billy and I were going to start another band after LSD, but I met a girl named Kess O'Hara. She had come to our LSD show with Dawkins, and I briefly met her and another guy, who we ended up just staying in contact, and she ended up moving in with me, and we started a band called Honey. And that was the first time that I broke out of, broke out of just playing what people were showing me and started learning music theory and structure and what all of the names of the notes were on the bass and stuff. So has really inspired me to become more of a musician.
Right on. Was that part of the deal when she moved in with you? Like, you can move in with me, but we have to start a band.
Yes, that was it. She definitely wanted to start a band with me, and so I said, well, if you move here and teach me how to really play music, because what Billy was teaching me was what he was teaching me, but it wasn't enough for me to learn theory and stuff. So I wanted somebody to help me with that, and she definitely taught me a lot. And then I started teaching myself because I wanted to keep up with her and the other players. And so that band did pretty well in Dallas, and we did a lot of stuff, but just financially it just wasn't there in the end.
Yeah.
And we split up, and I went off to do I don't know if you know who David Cote is, but he plays in Dallas a lot. And he was the one that originally showed me how to do GarageBand and stuff. But I ended up playing with him and playing in his cover band. And we played all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area several nights a week. And that's where I really got good with rhythm, like seriously locked in with rhythm, because he's a loop artist. So when you do a loop, it's like a metronome. You're still in the same exact timing. Yeah. So I had to basically play to whatever he put on his loop every single night. And it really helped me lock in to become a better bassist that way. And he also helped me branch out a little bit with theory, just a little bit more and a little bit more. I think as musicians, that's what we tend to do. Is it's so hard to get all of it at once.
Yeah.
But it's easy to get a little bit here and a little bit there.
So that's pretty much where you cut your teeth. Really got into it.
Yeah, that. And then, but right after that, I joined another band called Woody's Rampage, which was, we played a lot more of the casino gigs. And I couldn't have my notes in front of me a lot for that gig. So then I really started memorizing songs, lots of songs. I had to do over 100 songs for that band. So it was a lot of memorization and a lot of just keeping up. And the lead guy did a lot of segues. So I just had to really keep up, and it was a 3-piece. So I also had a lot of filling in to do. So that helped a lot too. And then came Zepparella, then came my record, Mokita, which I decided to do, I think in 2017. It took me about 9 months, and I just knew that I wanted to write the songs and get the best players possible. So I got Gary Hoey on guitar, Brady Blade on drums, and I was on bass and vocals, and I had Chris Bell in doing the engineering and mixing, and he's one of the best. He does the Eagles last record. He did Beyond, or what was it? Destiny's Child's first record. Mm-hmm. Does all of Eric Badu's stuff. He's amazing. I think a good key element of a good record is a good mixing engineer. Yeah. And then we had Gavin Larson master it, who does the Foo Fighters and stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that I had the right people for the job, and they were all sort of producers as well. So I let them have free reign with it. And, I wrote all the stuff, and then I had them play on it, and it just turned into this really nice thing. So then I started doing, in Dallas, my power trio. And then just a few months after I released that record, I got a call from Tracy Guns, a text message from Tracy Guns asking if I wanted to be in Zepparella. And I didn't hesitate to say yes. So about a week later, I was at an audition with them and got the job, and month later, I was on the road with them, and I've been touring with them ever since COVID hit.
Well, man, that's amazing. And I'm not just saying that to like kiss your ass. Like since 2011 to now, everything you've
Yeah.
done, you've really been hustling. As
Yeah.
I know cats here in Dallas that have been doing it since the 90s and haven't accomplished what you have in 10 years.
Oh, thank you.
Really,
I had
really 9 years because you lost
yeah,
a year.
almost. Yeah, I did. I really did. It sucks, but yeah, we lost a year. Yeah, I think I've always had a good, a lot of ambition, and I've always been an entrepreneur. With my hair business at the different salons, I still had to run my own business and stuff. So I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy meeting people, and so I think that's always helped me continue to get jobs playing bass. And I definitely always wanted to make sure that whatever band I went into, that I wasn't the one that was on the bottom end. I wanted, or I can't say that because I'm a bass player. I wasn't the one that was slacking the most, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I was doing a good job, and it wasn't to kiss ass or anything. It was just to prove to myself that I could do it. And I always had a lot of good mentors around that told me to play with as many people as possible and to play as much as possible. And so that's what I did.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of guys like that that'll give you that advice, and then some cats take it and some cats don't. And the ones that don't will sit there and say, like, well, I've been doing everything you've asked me to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But I think I think you and I crossed paths a lot, but I officially met you right after you got the Zepparella gig. And
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember talking to you and just we were hanging out at the Cult, and I just really met you, and I thought, like, man, like it's like we've been friends forever.
Yeah. I have a pretty bubbly personality.
Yeah.
And I'm a tall blonde, so that helps too.
Well, yeah. So in that time, like you just picked up and moved to LA, correct?
Yeah. So a few years ago, I decided that I definitely wanted to move to LA, and I didn't want to move empty-handed. I wanted to make sure I had some content, something out there. So that's when I did Moquita. And then 3 months later, I got the call from Zepparella. Now they're up in San Francisco, which I do not want to move to San Francisco. I'm not a northerner person. I'm from the South. I've born and raised in the South. So as far south as possible. I like the heat. So I moved to San Diego first because I had some friends there. And then COVID hit. And so now I'm actually in LA proper. I'm in Long Beach, which is LA County. So, but I'm here. I'm just waiting for things to open up a little bit more, and I'm waiting to tour. I don't think Zepparella is going to be able to tour until the fall. So I'm just trying to get over this summer, and then we can continue on.
Yeah. So I know you were out there. You did some gigging when you first moved out. How do you compare, like, being in this scene compared to being in that scene from Dallas?
Well, in Dallas, I know everybody. So it's like when I go to a show, even if somebody doesn't know I'm playing, like, I probably know them, or, especially like coming back through with Zepparella or with my own band. And we have like a sold out show or a packed house, most of my friends are there and I see everybody, and it feels more comfortable to me, I guess. But out here, it's like, I've been touring out on the West Coast for the past few years, and I'm starting to get to know people out here. But it's the scene up in the northwestern region of the United States is huge. Like, they love going to concerts, they love going out, they love being part of live music. In the South, it's kind of hit or miss. You have some places that are really popular and on certain days, and that's it. But we can go and play some shows on the West Coast and it be sold out on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. And in Dallas, I don't know. Sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't. But we have a big, cesspool of people there. There's so many different things going on in Dallas, and it's grown so much too over the last few years.
I like that word cesspool, how you describe
Yeah,
it.
I'd say so. Yeah, definitely. It's a cesspool of humans. Um, there's so much going on, and Clint obviously has done a really great job bringing back the big bars down there, with the Bomb Factory and Trees, and what was the other one?
Canton Hall.
Canton Hall, yeah. When he finally opened those two, it just brought so many great things to Deep Ellum. And when I first started going to Deep Ellum, I was 18, and it was every single door was a bar, every single one of them. You had the thin room, the fat room, the green room, everything. And it was so crazy, but everybody got along. Everything was wonderful. And then the last time that I was in Dallas and in Deep Ellum, it was the same way, but it was a little more chaotic. There was just too many people being weird about their diversity.
Yeah.
I always thought the diversity was what brought people together, and I loved that. But I think things just kind of changed a little bit over the years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I saw Deep Ellum in the late 80s, all through the 90s, and then the early 2000s. I'm showing my age right now. And then I quit going, and then when live music started kind of popping up around there, I'd go down there, and I understand what you were saying. So
Yeah. But the great thing is that it's branched out other venues. You've got Gas Monkey now, and even O'Reilly's is always holding shows and stuff. Out here, right at the moment, nothing's open. Still, there's no live music. I can't even go play a acoustic gig if I wanted to. Now in San Diego, I could, but I'm still a couple hours away from there.
Okay.
So, but I've been, doing some session work and helping people with their projects, and still writing and keeping busy. And I've been actually writing for online publications. I can't really say who I'm writing for because I'm under contract, but
no.
what I'm doing is basically like articles about bass and about guitar and about producing and stuff. And eventually I'd like to get to where I am published, like in Guitar World or bass, some bass magazine or something. So I'm working on that right now.
So how did this last year, how did it affect you, and what did you do to not get in a rut?
Well, I can't say that I didn't get in a rut sometimes, because it is very, very frustrating when everything's just taken away from you that you worked so hard for.
Yeah.
And, I did have hair to fall back on, but I didn't want to go back to hair because I've been doing it for 20 years. And at any point we were, we couldn't work anyways. So even if I wanted to get into hair right now, I would only have 6 months and then I'd be back on the road. So it's just not worth it to me. So I had to get really creative, of course, like everybody, I think. And I started working more on my Patreon. And so I have a lot more content on my Patreon, and I have a lot more subscribers, and I have some subscribers that attend my bass clinics every week, and that's been helping a lot. That's been kind of a lifesaver. And then on my website, I released a bunch of new merch, and then I also started a clothing company with my boyfriend called Dead Groove Clothing. And so we are trying to bring on artists for have a personalized merchandise for them, but not specifically bands. We could obviously do bands, but more like we have a visual artist on there. She's a tattoo artist here in LA. And we want to get, just certain people on there that have a good following, and that we can maybe give them a good piece of art to put on clothing. to sell. I have a signature deep groove logo, and Fred has a signature drummer die logo, and those seem to sell pretty well. And then I got into hot sauce. I had a friend that had a hot sauce company, so I started selling some hot sauce online, which went pretty well. And I have a little bit left. I'm going to do a big sale pretty soon and get rid of the rest of it. So I'm just learning about merchandising and online stuff. I had to do a couple websites over the past year just to keep up with online stuff. That's where everything's going now, is very digital and online, and so I wanted to make sure that I was ahead of the curve on that one, which is great because now I know how to build websites, and now I can write for websites and do all of that stuff.
Wow. That's a lot. Like when you said, I got in a rut. I got in a rut. I mean, I tour for a living as well. I got in a rut, and this is what I'm doing. This is it.
Yeah. Well, and I started Bass Cafe with it's called Bass Cafe with Holly and Dean, and Dean from Nita Strauss's band. It's her bass player, and we just talk about bass. I didn't realize how much time would go into the editing because I edit all of it. And then also Dean is a talker, so sometimes he can talk for like 2 hours. Which is great because it's content, but it's a lot of work. But it's great because we get to interview some really awesome bassists. I had Tony Montana or Cardenas Montana from Great White. I had Ace, who's Slash's Slash's guitar tech, Ace Bergman.
Yeah, I know Ace.
Ace. He was on one of them. We were just talking about, tech stuff and just anything and everything that has to do with the music, with music and in general. And it's been really cool. We took a little bit of a break, and I'm getting emails like, when is it coming back on? So I've got to get back on it. But I'm hoping to get some pretty big names up this next time as well. And I enjoy it. I really enjoy being able to talk about bass because it makes me learn too. And when we come up with an idea for an episode, I have to, do research and talk to people about, what I'm going to be doing. And as well as the writing that I've been doing, it's really helped me grow as a musician even more, just applying yourself a little bit more.
Yeah. That's all awesome, man.
Thank you.
Like I'm sitting here listening to everything you're doing, and I'm tired.
You're tired, yeah. And I actually just pulled in a new part-time job that I'm at like 4 hours a day, so I'm doing a lot. But it was really scary, going from we have a tour coming up that I'm going to be making several $1,000s, and I'm going to be set for a while. It's going to be great. And then all of a sudden, oh no, you can't tour at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, where's my money? I need money to live,
Oh no, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. It was just the mind. Like, it's so insane what we had to go through as gig people.
Yeah. And it's, still going through. Like we're still seeing gigs just go away.
Yep.
But
yeah,
there does seem to be a small light at the end of the tunnel.
There is a small light out there so far. As long as we don't have to go back into hibernating, I think we'll be okay. Yeah. I do see gigs popping up around here. I know of some gigs being booked, so we're just waiting.
Yeah, I think I've been keeping up. I'm a big fan of the comedy scene out there, and
oh, cool.
So they've started doing shows, I believe Comedy Store's doing like some outdoor stuff.
Great.
So it does look promising.
Good. That's wonderful.
So I mean, right now you're doing the bass. It's called Bass Cafe.
Bass Cafe with Holly and Dean. That's it's usually every Monday, but you can find it on YouTube. We'll have new episodes coming up soon.
Okay. And that's pretty much, is that occupying a lot of your time right now?
Well, it does occupy a lot of time. I've taken a little bit of a break this past month, but we're going to get back on it and I'm going to try to make it not take up so much of my time.
Because I know like a
But
2-hour conversation is a 10-hour editing marathon.
exactly. And so I'm trying to get it to where it's not as hard and it doesn't take up as much time, because it doesn't really give me any money at the moment. It's all free information we're giving to people. And so we're not getting any return from it. We're just giving, information and talking about bass and hoping that we're helping people. And also hoping that, if they really want to learn, that they'll, jump on one of our Patreons and get lessons, or, just follow along with some of the stuff we do. And then, so I'm doing that. And then I'm doing, Zepparella has a Patreon that we do, like a phone call, a Zoom call with all of our big fans, our top fans every week. And that's nice to see everybody, because we haven't seen anybody for over a year. And then on, let's see, what else am I doing? Bass Cafe, I'm writing, and I'm also helping I'm doing session work as well. Every Friday I go down to San Diego to do some session work. So yeah, staying pretty busy.
So does Zepparella have any kind of like live stream planned, or have you done anything like that?
Oh, what we've found out is that at the moment we are pushing everything probably until August. I think we're going to start rehearsing in September. That's the last I've heard. So end of summer.
Okay. For maybe hopefully have gigs in the fall.
Maybe, hopefully, yes. They're all on the calendar. They've just been moved like 3 or 4 times. But they're all on the calendar.
Well, Holly, you've done all this. You've been crazy busy for the last 10 years. Uh-huh. Is there any one experience that stood out over all of them that kind of made you say, like, this is why I'm doing it, and then just kind of, it seems like when something good happens, you don't get content. You're not like, all right, I'm comfortable. You just are like, this is good. Yeah. I want better. But is there anything that keeps you going that's happened?
I think Zepparella for sure, because I knew of Zepparella before I even started playing bass. I saw them play at the Jameson Ball in Dallas one year. And I thought, wow, that'd be a really cool band to be in. Because I was still an aspiring musician. I just didn't know how to do anything. Yeah. And so when I got that phone call and I realized that this was going to be a sure thing, being able to tour with them, like, really, really helped. And just the fact that the 3 girls are some of the coolest girls. There's no drama. There's no bickering. There's no ego. It was just us 4 against the world, basically. And we are a team. And I haven't really had enough of that in my career. I think a lot of musicians get sidelined by the fact that they have big egos. They limit themselves because, for some reason, I don't know. If those friendships and those relationships really need to be good, and there's a lot of musicians out there that don't let that happen. And unfortunately, I've had to deal with some people like that. So I think just finding these 3, being able to really have a connection with them on stage, it shows to our fans. And I've noticed that the fans, they see that. And that's where I feel like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Because I can show people that this is awesome.
So you all make each other step up your own game.
Yes, absolutely. We all step up to the challenge. I mean, playing Zeppelin's not easy. Playing it as exact as we try to make it, it's not easy. And we're all super professional about it. which I haven't really had that before either. So yeah, the friendship and just the professionalism is amazing. And then being able to know that the fans also see it, being proud of my band. Every little milestone is just an absolute joy.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So any plans other than Zepparella? Do you have any plans for like a new solo album with your trio or anything for the future? Are you working on that, or any more hot sauce flavors, which I wasn't able to get?
That's okay. I'm gonna have a big sale, so maybe you'll be able to get one soon. I think what I'm gonna try now is I'm gonna open up a boutique in my store. I think I'm gonna try the CBD market. Get into that because that seems to be booming.
It is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try a little bit of some other things besides music, but on the music side, I'm definitely still writing. I have a whole album written. I just have to get it done. It just takes money to do it.
Yeah.
But now that my boyfriend, he's a drummer. He plays in Power Flow and Billy Bio and all those bands, and we've been working on lots of music over the past year, and we are itching to get a record out for everyone. So we're working on, our clothing company and a new record together.
Oh, cool. Well, maybe once that's done, I can have you both on.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. And we're trying to keep it a two-piece, a drum and bass two-piece.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think like Death from Above meets Holly West. I guess.
I don't know if you know this, but I worked for Death from Above.
Did you?
Yeah.
They're so great.
They're amazing,
so awesome.
aren't they?
They're great. Yeah.
I normally don't drop names like that, but you brought them up, so I thought.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, you worked for lots of people. I mean, hell, if you hang out with Takumi, you probably worked for people you can't even tell anybody about.
there's a few.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's not exactly Death from Above. Like they've got kind of that hipster swagger to them, where I have that Southern rock swagger.
Yeah, I think it's just bred in us, right?
Yeah, totally.
The riff.
I told somebody this the other day. Oh, it was Rick, in the pit with Rick. I did an interview with him, and I was talking to him about, we have something really, really special in the South, because that's where blues landed, originally. And we have something really special about the soul of our internal musician. And just don't let it go, because it resonates all over the world. Everybody loves the blues. Everybody loves rock and roll. I mean, not everybody, but the majority. Like, people can get into it. An old blues song, people like that.
Yeah, they do. Well, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media, but the best place is my website, hollywestmusic.com. But anything on social media is Holly West Music, at Holly West Music. But I have a podcast. I have the Bass Cafe. I do bass clinics. It's all on the website. And you can buy and I have a Patreon, which is Holly West Music as well. If you go to the website, you can see all of that up at the very top. Everything's on there. All the episodes from Bass Cafe are on there. All the flash passes for Bass Clinic, if you want to come and join in on one of the bass clinics. This week we're going to do a deep dive into James Jamerson. So that's going to be really fun. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Make sure you play with those dead strings if you're going to do Jameson.
Oh, I have dead strings. My strings on my bass have been on there, I don't even know, like 7-8 years.
Yeah, I work with a guy who refuses to let me change his strings, and they've been on there on his main bass since 2015.
Yeah.
When they sent us the bass and I put strings on it.
Yeah, I think mine have been on there for about the same time. Yeah, I don't like and we talk about that a lot on Bass Cafe, actually, about strings and just not changing them or changing them.
Yeah. But that's the only two type of bass players there are.
Yeah,
The ones that change
you're
and the
right.
ones that don't. So
You're
real
right.
quick before I let you go, what kind of gear do you use? Like, what's your bass of choice? What's your main bass?
So my main bass is it's a 60s replica. This bass came from it came from Dallas. It ended up in San Francisco. Ended up back in Dallas at my house, and I ended up buying it off of my old singer's boyfriend. It was the weirdest thing. I took it to a guy that was a Lutheran at Fender, and he said, "This isn't a real Fender." But he opened it. He goes, "I know exactly who made this, and they made it perfectly. It's the most amazing bass ever, but it's not real. And if it was real, it'd worth like a lot of money." So that's my main bass. And then in Zepparella, I use a Fender 8x10 cabinet with the 300-watt basement amp, the hybrid.
Yeah.
So I've got all the new equipment. And then for my trio, I typically have my 8x10 Edens. And then I've got a 500-watt hard key that I usually only run 4 of my Edens through. I will not get like 1,000-watt and run both of them. So, and then, yeah, my secondary bass is just another Fender jazz bass. So that's what I typically go for, is Fender jazz. But I have several. I have like 9 guitars.
That's the other sickness right there.
Yeah. My acoustic guitar though is a Breed Love, and that's what I normally play my acoustic stuff with. I love it. It's beautiful guitar, beautifully made.
Oh, cool. Well, I thank you for your time, man. Thanks for doing this. I know, like I said, I know you're busy.
No worries.
Maybe next time I'm in LA, you'll be doing an acoustic gig or a Zepparella
I hope
gig,
so.
and I'll come check it out.
Please hit me up. Yeah, anytime you're in LA, I'm down in Long Beach, and we live right by the beach.
Will do.
So, all right. Nice talking to you.
You too. Have a good night, Holly.
Okay. Thank you, Bernie. Bye.
Well, there you go. Holly West of Zepparella. Make sure you check out her website and her YouTube channel and her Patreon page. And if you haven't done so yet, go back and listen to episode 1 with Leah Lane of Rose Garden Funeral Party. Until next week, thanks for listening.